Welcome to another episode of Blocks and Barriers with me, Tracy, the health coach, and welcome to season 2, where we will be again speaking with different people to help us take action in our health, in our lifestyle. And I have a special guest today. We have Mercy here with us to talk about diabetes, and especially as this is Diabetes Awareness Month. So welcome, Mercy.
Thank you very much.
You are so welcome. You are so welcome. So tell us a little bit about who is Mercy? What do you do?
Who am I? So, I am a child of God.
Mm-hmm.
That is my biggest title.
Amen, amen.
What do I do? So, I work in healthcare
Mm-hmm.
and I have been diabetic for, wow. So, I stopped counting,
Mm-hmm.
but it's been maybe 27 or 28 years.
Wow, that's a long, long time. And you don't even look like you've been your 27 plus years. You've taken care of yourself.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You are
Thank
so
you.
welcome. You are so welcome. So tell us where you based and where did you grow up?
So, I am based in London currently. And I was diagnosed in Kenya.
Okay, so you're currently in the UK, but you're diagnosed in Kenya. So
Yeah.
before we go into diabetes, I'd like to do an icebreaker.
Yeah.
So if you were to have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who
Mm-hmm.
would you have for breakfast? Who would you have for lunch? Who would you have for dinner? And why?
Great question. Actually, I would have my late dad
Mm-hmm.
for breakfast,
Mm-hmm.
just because he was a very. Sometimes I say is because I like to think there's a warm feeling other than he's far away or not here or whatever. I'd like to have breakfast with my dad because he was a very wholesome person to speak to. So he was very well read, very well knowledgeable about things, and a great listener and advice too. So you get the whole package, like in the morning, sets you up for the morning.
Mm-hmm.
For lunch, I would have my grandma, my late grandma,
Mm-hmm.
and she was like a mixture of funny, and then she would speak in riddles, and then they keep it's like every at different stages in life, or you sort of remember or unpack it a little bit more than you had before. So and great food. I know we'd have great food, tasty food. Then I guess I would have my best friend Rachel for the evening, just for like a laugh.
Mm.
Yeah, like a
Um,
great laugh.
Yeah, amazing, amazing. So there's laughter, there's setting you up for the day, good food, and of course, excellent company.
Yeah.
So now you wanted us to have this conversation in time for Diabetes Awareness Month. Why was that important for you?
Because there's certain aspects of diabetes that you would never have insight into unless you spoke to a diabetic.
Mm-hmm.
I normally say that diabetes does not have a day off. You can't wake up today and be like, okay, I'm not going to be diabetic today, because your body will remind you
Mm-hmm.
you are diabetic. You can try,
Yeah,
but your body will remind you that you are diabetic.
yeah.
Mm.
So yeah, and I love that because it means you're sharing your story. And for you who's lived with diabetes more than 27 years, even though you don't look it, why do you think it's important to share stories? I know you've said, there's some things you wouldn't get to know unless you've spoken to a diabetic. But besides that, why do you feel it's important to share your experience, or why it's important for people to share their experience with diabetes?
I feel that it gives you comfort if you're a diabetic. First off, to know that you're not on your own, because sometimes it can be a lonely journey, or I call them seasons, because a season, like if you ask me, there's some days or weeks, or sometimes it extends to months with a long-term condition where you don't necessarily feel your best. So when people ask, how are you today, you have to think, do you want the socially acceptable answer, or do you want the real? So I call them seasons because they can be short or they can be like extended. And socially, I don't think people are programmed. Most people, it depends on a select few where you can just be like, you know what, I'm not okay. They're not programmed to have a level of compassion that meets you at your point of need. Or we're not expected to be honest socially, I don't think. Yeah, because it can be like, okay, you haven't been well for such a long time. Are you ever well? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So I call them seasons.
Yeah. And I love that. And it's true. And this is why people may just feel, you know what, if somebody asks me, how am I? I'm good, even though you're not good. So, you said you were diagnosed many years ago. Do you remember the symptoms that led to your diagnosis?
Yes. So it went on for a long time, but as a child, you're sort of not aware. You just think, okay, I'm drinking a lot of water and I'm passing a lot of water. And this meant even in the night. So in the night, you barely get any sleep. You don't know, to the bathroom, to the kitchen.
Yeah.
So that is your night done. So you can imagine you're lethargic, you're all of those things. And I suppose the people around me thought, okay, it makes sense. You're drinking a lot of water and you're passing a lot of water. And that was it. But then I started losing a lot of weight. And then I remember a younger cousin, he's like a year younger than me. So we were going on a trip to Masai Mara. And at that time, the roads were not as safe as they are now. So you couldn't just stop anywhere. So I kept stopping the car to, pass water. And it was like, okay, you have to wait. And then I'd just be like drinking all the drinks we had. And he said, oh, my friend had something similar. And he went to the doctors, and then I can't remember what he said. And then I thought, oh, okay, maybe I need to tell someone. And then I did. Then we went for a blood test. And I remember the guy just looking at the blood test and looking at me like perplexed, like, you're walking? You're still here? Well, I didn't understand the magnitude of it then. And then the next thing is like, okay, both my parents and I in a doctor's room, and the doctor saying something, and then my mom crying and my dad comforting her, and I thought, oh wow, okay. It must be really bad. And then the next thing I remember is them going, oh, you're going to be admitted. I was old enough to understand what admitted was, but I remember asking my dad, so you mean I stay here and you guys go home? And I thought, oh, okay. Then the next thing, a couple of days being admitted, so everyone around me would have like in Kenya, it's very common to have like Ribena, Lucozade on your table. So guests would bring me that, and they'd be taken away, and I think, oh, okay. And then a couple of days in, I was taught how to inject, and I thought, wow, this is a very bad cold, because no one ever articulated it in a way that I could understand. And I thought, oh, maybe it'll just go away. Like no one ever said that, it's this is a goes on with you forever potentially. Yeah. So that was the beginning of diabetes for me.
Yeah. And I'm just wondering, so now how old were you? Were you a teenager by then? Yeah, so you're a young teen, you've been waking up, you're peeing a lot in the night, you're not getting enough sleep, and then you get this diagnosis, and the first reaction from your parents is, your mom is in tears, your dad is consoling her, people are bringing you gifts like Ribena, Lucozade, the usual things, but then they're taken away and you're in hospital. So for that young teen, how did it feel like for you in those first initial days?
There was a lot going on. Like your body's changing. So after the hospital experience, it was like, okay, then they start bringing you like diet sheet. I wish I could have retrieved a copy of the diet sheet. It was brutal. And then there's all of these appointments. So you have the consultant, and then the dietitian, and then who else was there? There was always a couple of appointments to attend. And I remember they were on was it a Wednesday afternoon? Which is the same time I had math class. So I missed out quite a lot of things. And I don't think at that time the system was necessarily fit for purpose to see that this is someone who needs additional help. But my dad was always like championing me and giving me extra classes and like remedial things and all of that. He was my biggest champion. Like at children's parties, he'd be the one like carrying the bottle of Diet Coke and the crackers. And I think, oh, you're so embarrassing. Go away. Yeah, that was
the first days.
The first, I'd say, months. And then it was difficult to get Diet Coke in Kenya at that time. It wasn't something common. You get like tonic water, but not. So there was a list of things you could have, and list of things that were you couldn't find them. Like sugar-free stuff was a myth. I remember there was this one chemist in CBD that sold diabetic stuff, and it tasted horrible. So, like squash, Diet Coke. I remember my dad asked the local lady who, like the local shop, like corner shop, the equivalent of corner shop, kiosk, to stock Diet Coke. So when I needed it, it was available, and she did. So, and it was a lot more expensive than, the traditionally available drinks and things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was challenging, tough, and then the availability of some of the things that could help you was not easy. And I know you said the diet sheet was brutal, and I can see, things like maybe Diet Coke. So what else made it brutal for you?
So it was very specific. Until someone takes away a certain freedom, you don't realize it is a freedom, or how much I forget how to say it, but it was like three, excuse me, three potatoes the size of an egg,
Yeah.
and something the size of your palm. And I was like, oh dear.
Like it just seems so like, huh, what is this? Because you're used to something
Yeah,
different.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So it's very, I tell you what to do and you do it.
Mm.
And what I normally say is the doctor then, she's a famous, oops, diabetic physician in Kenya. I think she's now retired. But I found her method of delivery was not the best,
Mm.
especially for a young person, actually for anyone.
Mhm.
So it would be like more to frighten me. So the
Mhm.
appointments were like, oh, let's have a look at your sugar levels. You have them in a diary form. You'd be like, oh, you're not doing very well. You know, if you don't take care of yourself, we'll cut off your legs. The
Oh,
heart will stop. I used to be frightened.
yeah.
I used to be so frightened, and there was nowhere to sort of talk about these things. So I internalized them a lot. And don't worry, I'm better now. Like I understand that she meant maybe it was a call for action, but it
Mhm.
could have been done better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess especially when you're a teen, you're a young person, and then like you said before, you are seeing so many healthcare professionals. You're seeing the doctor, the consultant, the professor, the
Yeah.
dietitian.
Yeah.
What do you feel can be done to make it uh maybe manageable for a young child or a young teen when they're first diagnosed? I know you've said the delivery, not
Yeah.
making them feel frightened, like, oh, if you don't, your leg will be, how should they do it? I'm sure maybe hopefully now they've changed it, but
Mm.
in your experience as someone who has lived with it, what do you feel is a better way to support a young person when when they've been diagnosed, when they've been just diagnosed?
First off, is to help them understand and possibly accept what this is,
Mhm.
to explain it at great length, and maybe support some, not support, have some psychological support too. So maybe some form of counseling
Yeah.
or to ease them into what is at hand. It normally comes as a shock because one time your body's working and the other time you're like, okay, it's like completely out of work. And it's a complete lifestyle change.
Mhm.
So, one of the things I normally tell people is that the model that is used in the UK
Mhm.
works for me.
Mhm.
So, the model that is used in the UK is education based. And
Mhm.
education based meaning you're taught a lot about the types of insulin,
Mhm.
how they work, where they peak, um, what else? Your body, how it works, how your liver functions, it's very education based, and they're compulsory classes. The one that for me is like, okay, they are meeting you at your human need
Mhm.
was they used to, I don't know if they still do it, they used to around Christmas time, because that's when people tend to drink a lot more, or even if you don't drink, then you're around the table celebrating with friends, blah blah blah. So you will want to pick up, like, I don't know, a glass of something alcoholic. So they had a class on how to drink safely as a diabetic. And I
Mhm.
thought, this is so good. So they
Yeah.
recognize that you will do certain things or want to do certain things. So other than tell you not to do it, because I kid you not, if someone told you you can't have salt today, you will want to have salt.
Yeah. You want to do the opposite.
You will, but I don't know. Are we that rebellious anyway?
We are. Look at, and it's not just children, because for sure, children, you tell them do this or don't do this, then that's exactly what they do. So we just carry on as adults. Yeah, it's true.
We get drawn to those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like um they navigate you here
Mm-hmm.
using education,
Mm-hmm.
how to make, I call them informed decisions.
Yeah.
So you're well informed, so you have like a couple of gadgets.
Mm-hmm.
You have your, it depends. Things have, how can I say? Technology has moved on.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like you have an insulin pump. Okay, it doesn't mean that you are now exempt from being diabetic or that you can't take care of it. The analogy I use is they're powerful tools.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like an aeroplane. Someone can gift you an aeroplane, but if they don't teach you how to fly it, then it's of no use to you.
Yeah.
And fly it safely.
Mm-hmm.
So I find that most people, for example, when I compare the UK model versus what's going on in Kenya, which is what I know,
Mm-hmm.
you find that people are like, yes, I want the pump. But I'm like, the pump won't stop everything. It makes it easier to manage. It makes it a lot lighter to manage, but it doesn't take away the responsibility or the thinking. You still have to engage the brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, in the UK, you found it more educational, you're empowered maybe, and then you can make those informed choices.
Yes.
Now, both me, yourself, and I, we come from Kenya, so we may see why such an approach in Kenya may not have been what you experienced at the time. But
Yeah.
maybe in your view, as someone who was diagnosed there and you had to start the journey there, what do you feel is the reason why they didn't take that approach?